live on the minimum wage, nor can anybody else.
Louise Upston.
That seems to be a challenge for the opposition in this House, is their inability to connect the dots. The dots go like this, Mr Speaker. Economic growth leads to increased export, leads to increased jobs, which means higher wages for families, for children, which means more children out of poverty. So, Mr Speaker, I'm somewhat challenged that the opposition don't seem to get the basics, which is connecting those fundamental dots. And we've heard quite a lot in this House in this debate about the challenges with children, and as a mother and as a constituent MP, it's always very challenging to deal with cases of families who are not doing well. But, Mr Speaker, particularly the Green members, I find it incredibly frustrating when time after time after time, any of the opportunities that lead to jobs, that lead to higher wages, that lead to increased export for this country, they say no. Well, Mr Speaker, I challenge the Greens in this House. If you are serious about lifting children out of poverty, just say yes. Just say yes. Even once would be a hallelujah moment in this House. Just say yes. Or even maybe. So, Mr Speaker, there's a number of things that we have done in terms of protecting children, in terms of supporting families in need. And we're realistic about the times that we're in. It would be lovely if we didn't have tough economic times. Would be great if we didn't. But this side of the House is just getting on, dealing with the realities, dealing with the challenges, dealing with the circumstances that we are facing. It's not an option, Mr Speaker, as the government to ignore those conditions. But one thing that's very, very simple, and yes, it was stated clearly in the report that those opposition members like to refer to in this debate, is the strong focus on the benefits of work. Now, let me say that again. The poverty report states the benefits of work. Now, we don't think that work is a dirty word on this side of the House. We actually see that work provides opportunities. And so Minister Paula Bennett has just done extraordinary work. She has tackled this whole area just with complete gusto, with guts, with courage, and she's got on and done the job. So the announcements this week around the requirement for drug testing so that beneficiaries are work ready. Well, you know what? I've had so many constituents say to me, we thought that was already the case. They were absolutely stunned. And I had a constituent in my office who said, if she has to have a drug test to be in paid work, why is it that the younger brother that she is so desperately trying to support him to get into a job, he's been on and off the dole, she's trying to support him to get a job, one of the challenges is he's smoking too much dope. So she's desperately trying to support him, and she said absolutely yippee when the minister announced it that finally we'll be doing drug testing to enable people to be ready for work, which is exactly what the welfare system is there for. It's to support people while they're out of work, and support them we must. But the flip side of that, Mr Speaker, is we cannot support people with a generous welfare system if our economy is not growing. So I'm going to go back to joining those dots. We cannot have a fantastic welfare system that supports the vulnerable, that supports those in need, unless we have an economy that is growing and exports that are growing. Just in the last couple of weeks in the Taupo electorate, one of the things that I've been really proud of is having the Trade Minister, Tim Grosser, in the electorate. Because what his connections provide, what he provides as our Minister of Trade, is the opportunity for our exports to grow. Now, we've got targets. 30 to 40% of our economy will be to make exports 30 to 40% of GDP by 2025. But what that actually requires, Mr Speaker, is a solid plan. So underneath these targets, there is a significant amount of work that's gone on to then breaking those down to say, here, how do we get from where we are now in 2012 to achieving those targets in 2025? And so being able to be involved in discussions with industry and businesses about growing is what it's all about, because we know without jobs we can't pay families and support anyone.
Is some member going to go for the call? I need some member to make a call. Paul Goldsmith.
Thank you, Mr.